Hello and welcome. A quick video testing the stain and spill detection of the Dyson spot+scrub. Dyson has made quite a bit of marketing noise about this feature. I'm also comparing it to the iRobot Roomba 705 Combo, which is likewise produced by PICEA and offers a similar function. This makes it interesting to see how features on the same platform are implemented across different brands that maybe still have their own R&D regarding firmware development, despite using an ODM. Before we start, one important note. I personally don't think much of tests like these, and I'll explain and show why in a bit more detail in a moment. One of the main reasons is that, from a design perspective, these robots are simply not made to handle spilled liquids. With the way current robots are designed, especially since the mopping unit is not positioned in front of the wheels, you inevitably end up spreading the mess, and all that grime at least ends up in the wheels. That can even lead to serious problems. So to be clear once again, I'm not a fan of these kinds of tests, and in my opinion, these robots shouldn't be used to clean up spills or liquid messes in the first place. For the first test, the robots are allowed to remove soy sauce here, just as it's described in the marketing. I'm running everything at real speed with sound, so pay close attention to the robot's behavior and also to the noises it makes.
Returning to dock to clean wet roller.
Anyone who listened and watched closely will have noticed that the Dyson spot+scrub made one additional pass here, doing so automatically and doing tighter turns. It also increased its mopping performance. In practice, this means there was a higher water supply and a higher mop roller speed, which was clearly audible. Overall, this combination results in better handling of the spill. As we saw, the dirt was not spread beyond the affected area as much as it was with the iRobot Roomba 705 Combo. As I mentioned, I'm not particularly fond of these types of tests because they can also lead to dirt accumulating on the robot's wheels, which in turn can sometimes cause docking issues and is overall just disgusting in my opinion. That said, in terms of pure cleaning performance, the Dyson spot+scrub AI offers a very solid approach to dealing with these kinds of problem scenarios. This is also likely the reason why Dyson decided to install a larger clean water pump compared to the iRobot Roomba 705 Combo. In the Dyson spot+scrub, there are two larger pumps installed, as shown here in the image. A vacuum pump for wastewater and one for supplying fresh water. This pump also includes a flow sensor that checks how much water is actually flowing. The iRobot Roomba 705 Combo has a similar feature, but it works in combination with a much smaller pump. The advantage of that smaller pump in the 705 Combo, however, is that you don't hear pump noise while the robot is operating. With the Dyson spot+scrub AI, the downside is that the clean water pump can occasionally be heard even during normal operation while the robot is mopping, as you can also hear in my full cleaning run video. I'll now show you a few more runs and also talk a bit about why, as I mentioned earlier, I find these kinds of tests rather questionable and what kinds of problems you can run into with them. For example, in this run the robot actually detected the stain as an obstacle. Interestingly, in the app it was still marked as a detected stain that had supposedly been removed. In general, with spills and stains there's always the issue that you can never be 100% certain what exactly the robot is detecting. To achieve true comparability, the stains or dirt would have to be arranged in exactly the same way every time. That means the height of the spill would need to be identical, but also the shape, size, and so on. Lighting conditions and contrast levels also play a huge role. Same goes also for obstacle detection tests. All of these factors would have to be identical in order to truly say that one robot detects or cleans dirt better than another. The approach angle also matters, meaning the direction from which the robot encounters the stain, and so on. Properly controlling all of these variables is practically impossible in a home environment. That's why such results should always be interpreted with caution, especially when the dirt or stains have not been applied in exactly the same way. As I said before, I'm generally not a fan of these kinds of tests. That already applies to small stains or spills like the ones in my example here, but even more so to tests where large amounts of liquids or dirt are simply dumped onto the floor and people then try to draw conclusions from that. In some cases, the test duration is effectively limited only by the stain detection. If one robot ends up running for 30 minutes and another for just 10 minutes, then of course there will be differences in the cleaning results. So drawing conclusions from such tests is pretty much pointless. So that's my take on it. I'll now just let a few more examples run. At the very end, you'll also see an example of the iRobot Roomba 10 Max and how the purely camera-based dirt detect system looked in the beginning. Floors like the one I have here with laminate and these fake knot holes can cause problems when dirt is detected purely visually rather than, as before, with a piezo sensor. All of these factors play a role. And if you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate a like and a subscription, as well as support through my Ko-fi link. That's it for now. See you next time.